about moving to Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys, and you're wondering, what are some things that I should be paying attention to as a home buyer? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you 10 things that I think are important to any home buyer, no matter where you are looking to purchase, whether it's in the Shenandoah Valley or anywhere else in the United States. You might want to grab a pen and a paper and write some things down that you think are important in your home search. So if this is the first time to our channel and you're wanting to know all there is to know about eating and sleeping and playing in the Shenandoah Valley, I want you to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you will be the first to be notified about all the market updates we give on our channel. Hi, my name is Leslie, along with my husband and partner, Stephen, and we love getting texts and emails and phone calls from people just like you and you and you and you. So if you're looking to move to the Shenandoah Valley in 9 days or 90 days, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text. We would love to talk to you about all the things in the Shenandoah Valley. Now, let's get started on 10 things that I think are important to home buyers. And the first thing we're going to talk about is location. Yes, that location thing. And it's not just about the city and the neighborhood, although those things are important. So once you've narrowed down where you would like to live in a neighborhood or in a particular city, I want you to look at the aerial map of any of the houses that you see that you would be interested in taking a look at. So before you even call a realtor to show you a property, take a look at that aerial view and see what it's near. Is it near a railroad track? Are there high wires, tension lines, power lines overhead? How close are they? Is that a concern to you? Is the house located on a busy street? How about, is the house located on a T street? So what I mean by that is, as soon as you drive into the neighborhood or as soon as you drive down the street, the house that you're looking at is right at the end. So in the evening, you're going to get the headlight from all the cars that are going down the street. If that doesn't bother you, great. But if it bothers you, think about that as well. So how much traffic is there on that street? Is it located on a corner? Is there a lot of exposure? Corner lots usually give you a larger lot, but it also gives you some more exposure. So I want you to think about that as well. Is it on a dead end? Does that bother you, or is that something that you would love to be located at the end of a dead-end street? How about a shared driveway? Stephanie and I at one time in our lives had a house on a shared driveway. We didn't think it would be a problem when we first moved in, but then it ended up being a problem. So think about if your house is located at the back and you have to drive through the neighborhood past your house to get to the house that's behind you, shared driveway, so there's going to be people driving by your house. And if that's important to you, then that's something that you should be taking into consideration. So the second thing that I want you to think about is the size of the house, the floor plan, and the style of house. So let's say you're looking at houses in between the 1,200 to 1,500 square foot range. What's the difference between a house that's 1,200 square feet and a house that's 1,500 square feet? Well, it's actually a room. So the size of a room will make the difference between a 1,200 square foot house and a 1,500 square foot house. So let's say you're looking at a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house that's 1,200 square feet, and you walk into it and you're like, this is a little tight. I need some more space, or I need an extra room. So that's something that I want you to really think about and to consider. Also, in a 1,500 square foot house, you're going to have maybe a bonus room, maybe a family room and a living room. So are you going to need that extra space for an office or for any other reason. Do you have children and you're wanting some space between you and the kids? So consider the floor plan on where things are located. So if you're like I was when you had little kids, I was in the kitchen a lot cooking or fixing snacks for the kids. And I wanted the family room where the kids were going to be a lot, where the TV was and where they were going to be playing. I wanted that close to the kitchen. So what time of life are you? If your kids are older, do you want them farther away from you? Because they're noisy and they're playing games or they're on the TV. So think about the proximity of those rooms and the floor plan and how it flows in your house. The other thing I want you to think about is the style of the house. So are you looking at a one-story ranch? Maybe there's a basement, maybe there's not, but I want you to think about that as compared to, let's say, a two-story home and the stairs that you're going to have to do in it, or a split level house. We had, I'm trying to think how many split levels we've lived in. And I actually liked a split level house. It gave me the distance that I needed from my kids when they got a little bit older, but I could still keep an ear open and I could hear them when they were downstairs and whether they were having a sleepover or they were playing games. And we have 3 children, so whether they were fussing with each other, they were still down in the lower part of the house, but I could still hear them. So a split level could be a good option for you. There's also like a Cape Cod. It's a story and a half. So you're going to be doing most of your living on that main level, and the upstairs is usually a couple of bedrooms with a bathroom in between. So Cape Cod or a story and a half style of home. So when you go looking for a house, summarizing, I want you to think about the size of the house, the floor plan, and the style. All right, moving on to number 3. What about storage? What about closet space? So if that home is occupied that you're taking a look at, I want you to open those closet doors. A lot of times people are afraid to open closet doors or open drawers to things. Well, if that house is going to be yours, the people who are selling the house are aware that people are going to be going through their things. So if it's something that's staying, we don't go through people's personal things, but if it's a closet space, I want you to open the doors and see if it's jam-packed or if they struggle with storage space. And that will help you kind of figure out, is all my stuff going to fit in that closet, or are we going to need some extra space? So pay attention to that. Is there a pantry? All right, so some people can live without a pantry. They don't cook at home much, but other people want a pantry for storage. So it's important to take a look and see if there's a space for a pantry or if there's an area in the kitchen that you can put one in. What about an attic space? So attic spaces are important to us as a family. So when we moved to our new house, there wasn't an attic in the garage. So we put one in. We floored the space up there. We put attic stairs in just so that we could have some extra space for storage. So where is the attic space in the house that you're looking at? Is it floored or can it be floored in order to give you some extra storage space? And the last thing that I want you to think about is a garage. So is a garage important to you for storage of your cars or for things or to have a refrigerator out in the garage? Is are you a handy person and you need that space to work on some things? And how about a 1-car garage compared to a 2-car or 3-car garage? How much room are you going to need in that house, and is that important? So, I forgot about a basement. So, Stephanie and I grew up in the Midwest, and we sometimes had tornadoes. So is a basement important to you as well? Not only for storage, but extra living space. Is it finished? Is it not finished? Is it something that you can finish later as your family grows or as you have the time to finish it out? So think about those things as well for storage space. So number 4, is the home in a subdivision versus a busy street versus acreage? So when my husband and I were looking to move, we were looking at a couple of options. Mr. Man wanted 20 acres with a house in the middle and no nobody around. On the other hand, I like people around. I like seeing my neighbors. If you get into trouble, it's always nice to have somebody around. So I told him, I said, look, let's compromise. Let's find a house in a subdivision that has some acreage, but we have people around. So we did. We ended up with an acre and in a cul-de-sac. At the end of the cul-de-sac, which is where we wanted to be because we didn't want people going by our house all the time. So that's something that you should consider as well. Okay, so if you're buying a house with a partner or a husband, spouse, take a look at all those things and discuss those things before you go house hunting. Are you wanting a subdivision? Are you wanting some acreage? Are you wanting a little bit of both? So those are some things that are really important to consider. So pro tip, these are some things that I've had buyers discuss with me, the importance of. I want you to drive around the neighborhoods, okay? So this is something that I suggest to all of my buyers. Drive around the neighborhood. And what do I mean by that? Well, take a drive in the neighborhood that you're really thinking about settling in, and you have a house there that maybe you've put an offer on or you're thinking about putting an offer on. So go there during the daytime. Go there during the weekend. What's it like on the weekend? Are there a lot of kids in the neighborhood? Do you want to be near kids? Do you not want to be near kids? So those are all some things to consider. Is it noisier on the weekends and in the evenings than it is during the daytime? Do you want the noise? Do you want your kids to play with the neighborhood kids? Do you want them to have access to that? So those are all things that I want you to really dive down deep and think about. Drive around that neighborhood. Check out the houses. Check out the pride of ownership of the houses as well. And what do I mean by that? Well, how did they keep up their yards and their houses? So are they displaying and showing you pride of ownership? So number 5, what is the room in your house that you live in the most? And most buyers tell me it's the kitchen. So let's talk about the kitchen. Is the kitchen someplace that you spend a lot of time? Is it a place where your friends gather? Is it a place that you, is your dining room table in there? Is it all in one space, your kitchen dining room combo, or is it separated? So where do you spend a lot of time? I want you to think about that. And when you take a look at that kitchen, is it important to you to have a window over the sink? So when I was looking for a house, it was important for me to have a space over my sink that I could look out. I didn't want to look at a wall. So that was something that was important to me. I could put it up with where is the dishwasher. So is the dishwasher to the left of the sink or to the right of the sink? To some people, that really matters. So take a look at where the dishwasher is. Where is it in location to the sink? Does that matter to you? How about, is it a cooktop or is it a complete range? And does it have a separate wall oven and a cooktop? What about things that you can change in the kitchen, and how much is that going to cost you? So those are all things, to consider. Is it a galley kitchen? Is there enough space in that kitchen for the amount of people that are going to be in that kitchen cooking at one time or needing to be in that kitchen at one time? So all those things are things that I want you to consider. The other thing is light. So some people that I've recently sold a house to, they wanted the front of their house to face east and the back of their house to face the west. And the reason for that is they wanted to sit on a front porch in the house and watch the sunrise. And then in the evenings, they wanted to sit out on their deck and see the sun set. And that was something that was important to them. So we only looked at homes that had a sunrise in the east and their front of their house was in the east and the back of their house faced west. But the other thing that I want you to think about as well is when the sun rises and sets, the place that you spend the most time, let's say in the evenings, and the sun is going down and it's summertime and it's really hot on that deck. Do you have a covering on that deck? Or can you put an awning to have a cover on that deck to, protect you from the heat of the afternoon and evening sun. So those are all some things to consider, but also look inside your house. How much light, natural light, is in your house? So in some of my houses, I had windows in my kitchen, windows in my living room. There wasn't really a middle room where there wasn't much natural light, which was really nice. How much light, artificial light, is there? Are the light fixtures bright enough for you? Or is that something that you can change out and you're not concerned about it? But where are your windows? How much natural light are you getting? Are those windows big enough? How about skylights? Are there skylights in your house? And you can get natural light from that. I love the skylight in my house. It's right over the stairs, so it brightens up those stairs and you can look up at the stars in the evening. So it's kind of a nice feature in my current house. All right, so number 7, moving on to number 7, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms in a home. You would not believe how many buyers I get that call us up and go, I want 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, no negotiations.
Take it or leave it.
Well, it's sometimes hard, especially in the current market, to find exactly the things that you're looking for. So some things that I want you to think about. So if you're looking for 3 bedrooms, but a house, let's say, has a bonus room. So let's say it has 3 bedrooms and a bonus room, and you're needing 3 bedrooms and an office space. Well, can that bonus room become your office space? So 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a bonus room, will that do it for you? What about a bath and a half? So when you skew down and you look at the MLS and you only put in 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or 2 full bathrooms. So what happens to those houses that you didn't consider that you could adjust some space inside the house with and get 2 full bathrooms, but it only currently has a bath and a half? Is the plumbing available so that you can expand that half bath into a full bath? So something that I want you to think about. Don't just narrow down your search to 3 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms. Think about the space and how it is inside a house that you're looking for. Is there an extra space that you can expand, or is there plumbing that you could move? And what's that going to cost? Yes, those are some things to consider, but I want you to have an open mind to things that you may not have thought were possibilities. So the 8th thing that I want you to consider is curb appeal. And yes, people think, oh, I'm going to be driving by your house and I want the landscaping to look nice and the paint on the side of the house to look nice and shutters. Well, those things are all important, okay? But there's some things that you may not have thought about that I want you to think about. So curb appeal. What is the position of your house on the street? Remember at the beginning of the video, we talked about, is there going to be lights shining into my window from the cars that pass by? Is that going to be a problem? So curb appeal also means not just how your landscaping looks, not just how your house looks and the color of your house and whether it has shutters and is it symmetrical. Those things are all important, but when you go to sell your house, I want you to think about your curb appeal. If something was a problem to you when you bought the house, or something that you noticed after you bought the house that was a problem, I guarantee you when you go to sell that house, buyers are going to leave comments about some things that were issues to you. So think about those things when you go to buy a house rather. So when I go to sell your house, and those things were things that you didn't think were going to be an issue when you go to sell your house, they could be an issue, and it could deter you from getting the maximum dollar in your house that you want to get. So while it may not be a problem to you, it could be a problem when you go to sell. So that's something that I want you to think about. The other thing that I want you to think about is the color of your front door. Your front door is important, and getting the most value out of a house, believe it or not, you recoup about 95% of the investment that you put into a front door, whether it's a brand new front door, a fiberglass front door, a solid wood door. Those are important. So you're going to recoup a lot of that investment that you've put into that front door. So think also about the color of your front door. So today I was driving around a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood with some fairly new construction. And I was looking at one that really stood out like a sore thumb. So the siding, it was all sided this royal blue color, which in and of itself was pretty, but it would have been prettier with like black trim or a dark brown trim. But they painted the front door a bright yellow. And I know bright yellow doors are a thing. It's welcoming, they're cheery. But if you're putting that bright yellow door against a bright blue door, or a bright blue house, that's going to be a problem. It's just this clash of color. So think about the colors of your house if you go to change it, or the color of your shutters if you go to change it. So think about that curb appeal. All right. Number 9, the outdoor space. Are you a person who loves to be outside? Do you love to mow grass? Are you wanting an acre or more of ground and you want to mow that grass? How about the landscaping of the house that you're looking to purchase? Stefan and I put an offer on a house that had a lot of landscaping. And that was something that we were going to have to consider. Did we want to putz around with all the trimming of the bushes and the mulch and the edging and the flowers and keeping up with all those things if we bought that house? So I'm kind of glad that we lost the offer that we put in on that house. So those are something that you need to think about. Your outdoor space. Do you want a place for a garden? How close is it to the water? Is there an irrigation system? Does the irrigation system work? Is it on a timer? Those things are all important. Is the location of the house close to an interstate? Are you going to have a lot of outdoor noise if you're outside at the fire pit or on the deck and you can't even talk to your friends on the deck because of the noise of the interstate or of the street? So those things, think about those things. And number 10, the finishing touches of a house. And what do I mean by that? I want you to take a look at the trim and the hardware in the house and anything that was custom built in the house. Let's say there's custom curtains in the house. Are those staying? And how expensive will those be when you change them out? Say they're not staying. How expensive is it going to be to make custom curtains in a certain space in the house? Something to think about. Is the crown molding, the trim on the house or inside the house, is it finished well? Is there gaps? Are the finishes done well? How about the hardware? So I know that people have been slowly changing out their hardware from brass to silver, and there is some gold still coming out there. So is that going to bother you? And is this something that you're willing to change out? If they're brass fixtures and you don't want brass fixtures, can you change them out? Can you paint them, take them off and paint them? So take a look at the finishing touches in the house. And is that going to be something that bothers you? So in closing and in wrapping up all of these things and the 10 things that I want you to think about when buying a house, if you have any questions or anything that you would like to add, leave me a comment. Some things that you've thought about when you purchased your house that I haven't mentioned, let me know. So I hope this video has at least got you thinking. If you're looking to buy a house, it's let you think about some things. It's given you some guidance. If there's any questions that you may have, Stefan and I get calls and emails and texts from people just like you. So let us know, give us a comment. Let us know if this was helpful for you or if there are some additional things that you think we should consider. Let me know. And like I always say at the end of our videos, I'll see you around town.